Here we go, another upload. Futurama, we're on season 2 now, episode 2 and 3. The first episode will be Mars University, and the second episode will be When Aliens Attack. So let's just jump right into the first episode. Um, I feel like if anything, these are probably some of the most. No, I wouldn't say that. I think episode 2 is like one of them uh, highly repeated episodes on that's played on television. I feel like because I think I've seen that episode the most for some reason. Um, it's I hate to say it. It's but I want to be honest about it. It's pointing out a flaw that the series has. Now, some people may not consider this a flaw, but I think it's it's um it's it's simplicity. Now, I don't know. I can't remember if I have said something in the past about how simplistic this show is. If I felt like that was a plus or not. I don't necessarily feel like it's a plus, but I feel like and that's my wall in the background. It's a little grungy. See my wall? I gotta do some painting, but I feel like I don't feel like its simplicity would hurt it. I feel like that's what makes it for me. That's what makes it so enjoyable. I mean, it doesn't try to overload you with. The only thing this series can overload the viewer with is the amount of little jokes that are put in each episode. But getting back to this particular episode, this episode you're gonna see Fry, the professor, Leela, Amy plays a big part in this one. Amy Wong. Trying to see who else. Bender, of course, is in this one. Oh, this is also it's a spoof of National Lampoons. I believe that's how you say it. It was a they. Damn, I don't even know. It's from a different. This is from a different generation. I watched the movie myself. Didn't necessarily like it. Just like Blazing Saddles, I just didn't necessarily like it. But these movies, how should I put? These movies are from a different generation, so I think it's within. I think it's within reason to be like, oh well, I don't get it. It's not funny because I wasn't born and I didn't live through that time period. Uh, there were certain parts of national of the Lampoon's film that I found I found funny, but overall, it wasn't a good movie. And Futurama decides to spoof it uh, and sprinkle it throughout the episode. I think they did a decent job of it. Um, Bender was Bender was the craziest party animal in college, which I think is funny. But it's kind of like a vocational school thing. He's like went to bending college because he's a bending unit. It's funny stuff in there. You gotta, like I say, like I say so many times before. Like if you're doing yourself an injustice, if you expect to get all the jokes and all the nuances and everything from me, I'm just trying to put it out there. I really love this series. I've said this before. I know I've said this before. It brightens my day when I watch this series. And I said I've watched it several times. I'm not talking about the episode, am I? Let's get back to the episode. So in this episode, they visit Mars for the first time. Is it the first time? Yeah, they visit Mars for the first time, and they see that Amy. I think it was like I think that's the. I think she's an intern for. Yeah, I really have to paint my walls. Um, I think she's an intern for the company, I believe, but she comes from a really rich family, and see that and again they're also sprinkling in. I guess that's like a. I guess that would be considered I think it definitely would be considered an injustice, seeing how somebody who an offspring from the offspring from a well off, like a really well off family, can be placed in a school like that, and basically, not only is she buying an education, but she's buying a certain status. They're pointing that out. Yeah, I guess they're making a satire out of it. Um, but I'm still getting off track from the episode. I apologize. So in this episode, they have a delivery, of course, and the delivery is that's how they wind up going to Mars because they have a delivery there. But they're taking a monkey over there. Okay, this is probably the only joke I probably remember from the episode. So, um, oh, this is my one of my experiments. It's a super highly intelligent monkey that I've been working on. Blah blah blah. And Fry shoots an shoots a question towards the professor. So, how's he so smart? Is he genetically enhanced and this and that? And the professor shoots back, no, that's preposterous. It's impossible. It's only science fiction. I made a special hat for him, which is that's the joke. So it's not genetically enhanced in any way. All the monkey has to do is simply put a little top hat on, and he becomes uber intelligent, which I think is funny. And he gave him a German name, Gunther. I don't know what the significance to that is. Maybe I'm missing something. But anyway, um, I think he also bring up another good aspect of life. I assume um, are people who are hyper intelligent. If somebody is hyperly, oh, now I know. Okay, if somebody is overly intelligent, um, does that necessarily mean that they're going to be happy? I think that's one of the extremes because being so intelligent that no that you can't be challenged in the conversation to put it to try and I'm trying to yeah it's not me as you can tell, but to not be able to fully express yourself in a conversation and have the person you're talking to like get what you're saying can also lead to isolationism. If I'm using that, I think I just made up a word, but it can isolate you just as being on the other end of the spectrum, or even in between. Being too much of one thing can lead to you being by yourself, and you see that arc go through this episode within a monkey, of course, which I think is what makes it so funny. The monkey winds up to his own free will choosing to take the hat off, to take off as it to eliminate its advantage, so to speak. I don't want this. It's a burden. Being this smart is a burden. Now, saying that, is it wrong to be that smart? Like super smart? I don't think so. And I think this might speak to the creators or the writers past as children feeling alone and having to make a decision whether you want to play play that field of being just smart enough versus being way up here. I mean, these are decisions. These are decisions people make in real life. It's called settling. At least that's what I call it. People do it in relationships. People do it at work. People do it with their family. All the time, people are making a decision to settle in their life. Um, I think that's like I think that's being lazy. I mean, it's hard to do, but I feel like it's being lazy. And of course, this is easier said than done because I myself am probably guilty of doing that. Not probably, I am guilty of settling in some aspect. And this is one reason why I enjoy this series because it's got me thinking like this. And it's an animated show. Come on, man. It's an animated show from, I think the air date was like 1999, and even to say that, it's like, oh, that was Jesus. That was like 20 years ago, 21 years ago, man. Whew. Hopefully, I got the math right on that. This is 2020 now. That's Yeah, man. That's like 21 years ago. Jesus, this show was out 21 years ago. Now, does this show his age? I think it does. There's a few jokes in there, and you're like, you had to be around to get that joke. But the episode he winds up um, being super. Oh yeah, well I guess they did that. They did something to spice up the episode because so you're not sitting there only watching a monkey run around being super smart. And this episode, for some reason, it felt like it was going slower because of how simple it was. But then it felt like it was going fast because of how much fun Bender and the characters he came into contact with, and the spoof aspect of it. So I think I don't think there was necessarily balance in between the two storylines, but I feel like I feel like they complement each other very well. And like I said, like I was going to say, at the end of the episode, the monkey winds up saving Fry, Bender, and Leela from falling off a waterfall and perishing, and he winds up taking that fall. But when he falls, the hat gets smushed, and he's Professor checks it, and he's like, "Oh, it's only operating at half capacity. Maybe I should fix it." Hey, no, it's fine. I like it like this. It's like that says something, doesn't it? That says something. Like I said, he has to make that choice, even though it's a monkey. Overall, I rate this in the middle. It wasn't bad and it wasn't good. I just feel like I don't know why. I feel like I've watched this episode a lot of times. Now let's get to the next episode, which is when aliens attack. This one is really good. I think this is a play from like a '50s era drive-in movie almost. But the thing is also, I forgot what I was gonna say that quick. When aliens attack, I'm trying to remember the episode when aliens attack. Yeah, driving. It has that driving feel to it. But this one, I could barely keep up with the amount of jokes that were in this one. They were like left and right, right and left. They start off by being in a place called Monument Beach, and they have they have all the world's monuments in one place. And of course, there's a president of the world in this particular episode. But the thing about this one is, this is the introduction of damn. I'm probably gonna get the name of these characters wrong. It's like Slurge and Lurge or something. I forget. I really apologize, but I remember the name of the like planet they're from. It's Omicron Persei, something like that, or Omicron Persei. Jesus Christ, it feels like I didn't even put too much effort in this upload, but like I said, I've watched this series a couple times, and I like these characters, these alien characters. I like them a lot because they're hooked on old sitcoms, and like they're really in tune with older uh, older stuff from Fry's era. And you would think Fry would be able to um, uh, have more knowledge of the time that he existed, but he's a buffoon, so he doesn't. But they and again they're dealing with other aspects too. So there's the humor and there's also um, the brainy part of it because they're dealing with uh, how long it takes for how long it takes for light to travel a distance. So they're it's 1,000 years in the future, and it takes 1,000 years for this signal from this TV show that these aliens are watching to get to their planet. But is but coincidentally, Fry is a delivery boy, and he delivered a pizza to that station, and accidentally uh, caused that caused an episode to be taken off the or abruptly taken off the air. So they shoot all the way over to Earth and attack it, and they want a conclusion to the episode. That's it. They wind up, and another coincidence, the the president of the world name is McNeil, and the character in the show they're watching is named McNeil. So when they come there asking for McNeil, they give them the president. Of course, they don't want the president, so they wind up vaporizing him. Oh yeah, and Zap Brannigan makes that's just an all around good name. But I think there's probably too many characters in here that are shown as buffoons. I don't know. One too many. I think one's enough. I think Fry's enough, but they have another one in Zap Brannigan. But I think he's a type A type of. They actually gave him what was it? They actually gave him oh god. They actually gave him the title of 25-star general, which I think is so funny. Um, it's hilarious, really. Uh, so the episode, where was that in the episode? The episode is where was that in the episode? The episode, I can't get over that. It's so funny to me. But the episode, of course, eventually they get what they want, but there's no way for them. There's no way they don't have any. They don't have any. They don't have any way to have a conclusion for this sitcom because it's 1,000 years old by this time. So Fry winds up having to like and the gang, of course. Somehow they get the honor of recreating the TV show and like recasting it, and they're playing the actors and things of that nature, and they make a satisfactory ending for the aliens, and it's a happy ending. Um, I'm gonna rate this episode, even though a little bit higher, but it's still gonna be around the same as the last episode because I feel like I've watched both these episodes quite a few times for some reason. I feel like both these episodes get a lot of TV play. That doesn't necessarily mean I still like this one more because I laughed more through this episode than I did the previous one. But if this was a less than stellar review, I apologize. Tomorrow I will have two movies. Until then.